Fenglin Jingyu Introduction. Come and read more of my works on the website under EP1-10. In the twilight of Weibei, outside one song. You are listening at novel full.audio. In the twilight of the north of Wei River, outer song. When Wei Feng Ru trains several agents searching through the barren wilderness over and over again, temperature riding on a runaway kite pouring down below the dust, the western mountain with a half-crowned setting sun pulling up a cloud to decorate the vast earth, a jackdaw carrying a ray of rosy light over the locust forest, setting aside a few mournful cries to decorate the hungry valley, a cold and silent stream like a dancing Hatta lying at the bottom of the valley, the withered old vine is like bulging veins on the back of a hand stick to the trunk of a tree facing the strong dancing west wind, gazing at the smoke rising from the village like a black rope binding a wandering soul at this moment. The cold brushing across the nostrils cutting off a faint melancholy, the imperial tomb not far away is like a seal press on the yellowed letterhead to tell 2020.3.12a anchored ship. Night like a python wandering among the grass, open your huge mouth and embrace the chirping of birds and barking of dogs, cooking smoke, a crescent moon is like a sickle, lift up the thin mist like cicada wings and climb up the east mountain, the wind brushes through the reed marshes, shake a river of stars, decorate a curtain of residual dreams, the faint sound of the flute is like a midnight smuff touching the mind, pushing open the window, a boat slowly schemes through the water, a ray of starlight falls on the mast like a diamond carrying the promise of a long voyage, the rusty and mottled hull of the ship, the swaying or rippled layer upon layer like a smile hanging from the corner of the mouth, a conical goose formation ploughed open on a calm water surface, gently tapping the embankment, staring at the exhausted ship, thoughts break through the walls of confinement, the fate of sailing a ship like a life of struggle. 2020.3.12. The Seeds of Roses. You are listening at novel full.audio. The Seeds of Roses. When Wei Feng I leaned against the fence and looked out, a rising sun lifts the clouds and clouds warm eyes expressing the vastness of love to the frozen earth. Feng drank 12 bowls of strong liquor, a hysterical roar swept over the hill, leap up the persimmon tree searching for the secret behind a leaf, the rose climbing the fence, light green spine supports light red fruits like a matchstick head attempting to ignite the silent heart of winter, a cold wind brushing over the hair tips, shake your arms and pull out the silver needle, teasing and trembling rose seeds, analyzing the mission carried by a seed, greedy fingertips touching the round and pearl like fruit, twinkling roses in the hazy sky like a 16-year-old girl swaying figure congratulates spring, looking up, a round of warm sunshine is like a pill healing Chinka Yuanye's wounds. 2020.3.12. Journey in a Foreign Land, Part 1. You are listening at novel full.audio. Journey in a Foreign Land, Part 1. When Wei Feng the surging traffic flickered with lights like a dragon swimming on a curved long street crowded with people, the footsteps that rise one after another string up the symphony, boiling lights and charming streets stir up the pulse of the city, turning the alley, the dim yellow light was drawn out by the darkness, throwing aimlessly in the sparse forest, shake the ground with debris to decorate sleepless midnight, the wind that stumbled and fell cried out in pain, endless attachment wrapped around maple leaves, lift up the corner of my clothes to search for the weak smoke of my hometown, the suitcase tugs at the tired soul pressing the lonely shadow on the journey of a foreign land, pick up a red maple and stick it to your chest, the lingering bird song binds the lead-filled footsteps at this moment. I am the bird that flies out of the eaves searching for food in unfamiliar land. 2020.3.12. Moyu Huaxia civilization. When Wei Feng tonight, I let go of my loneliness and pride like a butterfly flying over spring, opening a thick history book, straighten your spine in the pursuit of self-improvement, embrace a strand of noble and righteous energy to nourish the heart of hard work, writing a new chapter in the great era, extracting the true essence of altruism from the highest goodness is like water, shake a regular flag, cultivate the soul with calmness and open up an orchid, clear mindedness and self-awareness in purity of mind and perseverance, picking up the original intention of achieving great wishes without any worries, raise the prayer flags to help the world and cross over to a blooming lotus pond, encountering beauty in Guanguan Juzhou, holding a long flute, trembling with electric ions, awakening the sleeping roses in the heart, blooming all over the spring branches, harvesting a few leisurely and carefree bouquets in a leisurely journey like a butterfly in a dream, planting a row of chrysanthemums in the southern mountains, nurturing a deep and profound soul in tang and song poetry, The free and unrestrained spirit of poetry immortals is brought on credit Su Shi's heroic spirit and Lu Yong's deep affection editing along the rhythm of the horse hooves into the background color of life under the dazzling starry sky in the vast and boundless classics. I wish I were a sunflower chasing my dreams. Moyu Huaxia civilization ignite patriotism, wind and rain, and journey together 2020.3.9. The four major problems that need to be solved first in learning. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The four major problems that need to be solved first in learning. 1/Wei Feng. The first step in learning is to solve four major problems. The problem of willingness to learn, epistemology, the problem of why to learn, the driving force of learning, the problem of what to learn, selective learning, and the problem of how to learn, methodology. Solving these four major problems will open a new chapter in your learning, which is of great significance for your happy learning, good life, good grades, and good health. It is a revolution in learning and a lifeline for students. These four major questions are about willingness to learn, why to learn, how to learn, and what to learn. It is not isolated, but interconnected, interdependent, and inseparable. Willingness to learn is fundamental. If a person is unwilling to learn, they will not be able to learn anything well. Even if the learning methods are good and the conditions are superior, they understand what they should learn. However, even if they do not learn, are unwilling to give, and do not take practical actions, they cannot achieve good results. Even if you force them to reluctantly learn, the effect will not be very good. It is just a waste of effort, and in the end, it is only a torture. Doing useless work is futile and useless. If that's the case, I don't think God can help you, and even immortals are powerless. As the saying goes, those who help themselves are helped by heaven. Therefore, we must change our mindset, be willing to learn, and change from passive learning to active learning. Confucius said, "Those who know are not as good as those who know, and those who are good are not as happy as those who are good." It is evident how important it is to be willing to learn, which is the foundation of learning and a prerequisite for achieving good grades. The second major problem that learning should solve is why learning is a problem. Why is learning the driving force of learning, an inexhaustible source of motivation? Students in the same grade or even class have different motivations for learning. Some students study for their own personal gain, to have a good future and learn to honor our ancestors, some study for the sake of having a good family, and some students study in the spirit of dedicating themselves to the motherland, for the people, and for the welfare of people around the world. In short, there is a question in the hearts of every student, and the driving force behind learning, why they learn the question. Different answers to this question result in different levels of motivation for learning. Those who aspire to study for the country, for their nation, for the people, and for the welfare of people around the world will have a strong sense of responsibility and motivation to learn, and will actively work hard with passion and love. On the contrary, those who only learn for their own good future will have less motivation to learn. Today, many of our classmates have insufficient understanding of this issue and have not seriously considered it. It cannot be said that it is not a regret. So what is the relationship between willingness to learn and why to learn? What are the impacts of willingness to learn and why to learn? On the one hand, as long as you think seriously, you will discover why learning can enhance or weaken your interest and motivation to learn. There is a close connection between why to learn and what to learn, and what to learn is epistemological. Although everyone has their own aspirations, their feet have their own shortcomings, and their inches have their own strengths. Each student has their own strengths, some have a passion for humanities, some have a passion for science, some have a passion for music, and some have a passion for sports. All of these are closely related to what they learn. Why they learn guides what they learn, and what they learn also has an impact on why they learn. So, what should we learn in learning? The author believes that one should learn to discover problems, analyze problems, solve problems, distinguish right from wrong, and various basic skills. Of course, basic skills are multifaceted, including survival skills, work skills, social skills, learning skills, and so on. Why do we learn? Teenagers in the 21st century should have a broader vision and broad-mindedness, learn more from the great Mao Zedong for the country and the people, learn from Premier Zhou for the rise of China, and learn more from Marx for the liberation of all humanity. Having lofty aspirations and a broad mind for the world. However, just being willing to learn, knowing why to learn, and learning what to learn is far from enough. The learning we advocate is not simple and inefficient learning, but efficient learning. Efficient learning requires certain methods and strategies, which means solving the problems that need to be learned first. The question of how to learn is also an important issue that a student needs to solve first in the learning process. A person who does not know how to learn cannot learn courses well and achieve good academic results. Only those who are willing to learn and know how to learn can achieve good academic results. Only by combining willingness to learn and using the correct learning methods, i.e. knowing how to learn, can we maximize our power and achieve a 1+1=2 effect in learning. We know that if a student adopts the right learning method, they will learn easily and happily, develop a strong interest in learning, and be willing to learn and enjoy learning. For a student who is willing to learn, it is not enough to have only one learning method. They will explore more optimal learning methods that are more suitable for themselves. On the contrary, it will lose confidence in learning and disgust learning. Therefore, we should not only attach importance to cultivating learning interests, but also to exploring and improving learning methods. Only by achieving an organic combination of the two can we achieve twice the result with half the effort in learning and easily achieve good academic results. Clarify the four major questions mentioned above. The question of willingness to learn, the question of why to learn, the question of what to learn, and the question of how to learn. After discussing the interrelationships and inseparable relationships among the four, we should calm down and seriously consider your specific situation. Clarify your thoughts, make a plan, and think about it. Are you really willing to learn? Why study? What content should we learn? How did you learn? I hope you can find a satisfactory answer. If you have seriously thought about it but are still unclear or unable to come up with a specific plan, it doesn't matter. In the following chapters, we will conduct in-depth and detailed analysis of each specific problem until everyone is willing to learn and clearly knows how to learn, why to learn, and what to learn. And to ensure that every student can study well, live well, achieve good grades, and maintain good health, and achieve the goal of for good, please continue to read the following articles carefully. There will definitely be significant gains, which can help you clarify these four major issues, establish a correct learning perspective, and achieve the best academic performance. Early morning bird songs crush sweet dreams. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Early morning bird songs crush sweet dreams. 1/Wei Feng. A ray of dawn ignites an orange-red flame devouring the night. Magpies leap onto plum branches and throw them out clear and ethereal, chirping like strings of beads falling into a tray. Camellia flowers piercing through the window shake off a petal and wake up a dream filled with the fragrance of violet and a deep blue hue. The birds' chirping beats against the morning time, and time again crush a curtain of sweet dreams scattering. A patch of broken and beautiful debris on the ground open the curtains of a pool of blooming lotus flowers. The scorching eyes of the sun cast countless golden needles. Living balcony decoration full of vitality. In the morning a magpie carrying a dead branch through the window flying towards the majestic shore like a father's shoulder. The ancient locust tree building nests for reproduction and reproduction. The lingering dreams are like lightning swaying on a summer night strolling through the mind like the plot details. Like the sky full of willow flowers. I vaguely saw you riding a white horse coming from wading into the water. The clattering hooves of a horse create layers of ripples using flowing and beautiful hair. Flirting my painting scroll in every detail at this moment. A warm stream of happiness surges into my heart. My heart has long been filled with peach blossoms and trees. 2020.2.1 Wu Wei Feng, male, born in Xiangyang, Hubei Province, is a legal worker. He is a member of the Chinese Poetry Society, the International Chinese Writers Association, the Blue V Poet of the Chinese Poetry Network, a member of the May 4th Literature Society of Peking University, a member of the Chinese Writers Network, a standing committee member and vice president of the Greater China region of the International Chinese Writers Association, and the president of the Ningxia branch. Vice Editor-in-Chief of Autumn Rhyme Literature Garden, Executive Editor-in-Chief of Chongqing New Poetry Microjournal, Editorial Board Member of Star Culture Media, First Prize in the Chutian Cup Shui Essay Competition of People's Literature Publishing House, and First Prize in the 4th Yangtze River Cup Chinese Poetry Competition. The second prize of the second Most Beautiful China Contemporary Poetry and Prose Competition, the second prize of the 2023 Fenglin Cup New Era Poetry and Art Pen Club, and the author of the book A Brief Account of Independent Views. More than 1,000 works have been published in various poetry magazines, collections, newspapers, and online platforms. The Essence of Sun Tzu's Art of War. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The essence of Sun Tzu's Art of War 1/Wei Feng War is the ultimate battle of human wisdom. In the long river of 5,000 years of Chinese history. After tens of thousands of battles, a group of outstanding military strategists have emerged, along with hundreds of typical examples of defeating many with fewer and defeating strong with weakness, and a series of military works shining with wisdom, shining like stars. Sun Tzu's Art of War is a bright moon in the vast starry sky. It is the earliest military book in our country. It is also the earliest military work in world military history. It is the crystallization of wisdom, a cultural treasure of humanity, and a guardian god of peace. It is a treasure of wisdom worth studying, exploring, and discovering throughout our lives. The Art of War of Sun Tzu is a brilliant treasure in China's ancient military cultural heritage and an important part of excellent traditional culture. Its broad and profound content, profound thinking, meticulous and rigorous logic are the concentrated embodiment of the essence of ancient military thought. The Art of War by Sun Tzu has deeply influenced the Chinese people for thousands of years and will continue to influence our descendants. It is an inexhaustible treasure trove of wisdom that can never be used. The Art of War by Sun Tzu reveals philosophical dialectical thinking and the idea of unity of opposites everywhere. It is both a military book and a philosophical collection. The whole article revolves around the balance between benefits and harms in decision-making. In The 9 Variations of Sun Tzu's Art of War, it is said that the considerations of the wise must be mixed with interests, mixed with benefits and trustworthy tasks, and mixed with harms and problems that can be solved. Prosperity leads to action, and no benefit leads to cessation. All wars and battles need to be determined based on the actual situation and the battlefield situation. Virtual and reality are also important ideas. In Sun Tzu's Art of War, it is said that the image of a soldier is like water, and the water's movement avoids high and tends downwards, while the shape of the soldier avoids reality and attacks virtual. The water controls flow due to the ground, and the soldier wins due to the enemy. Therefore, war is unpredictable and water is unpredictable. Those who can win due to changes in the enemy are called gods. The great politician of the Three Kingdoms, Cao Cao, also said, "The way of using military force is to use it in a virtual way, to use it in a virtual way, to use it in a real way, to use it in a real way, and to use it in a virtual way." Movement and stillness are also important ideas in Sun Tzu's Art of War. Sun Tzu said, "Silence is like a virgin, movement is like a detached rabbit." The way of using military force is to use it for the benefit of moving, and not for the benefit of stopping. In addition, attack and defense are also important ideas in Sun Tzu's Art of War. The core idea of Sun Tzu is the invincible, the defending, the victorious, the attacking. The rules are insufficient, the attacking is surplus, the good defenders hide under the 9 lands, and the good attackers move above the 9 heavens. Therefore, they can protect themselves and achieve complete victory. War is a game between the attacking and defending sides, a competition of wisdom, a confrontation of justice and evil, a continuation of politics, and politics is the mother of war. In addition, Sun Tzu's Art of War also has philosophical dialectical views such as uniqueness and righteousness, multitude and scarcity, other and oneself, which jointly establish the philosophical position of Sun Tzu's Art of War. The brilliance of Sun Tzu's art of war is not only reflected in philosophy. Its political views are also worthy of our profound learning and reference. Sun Tzu's art of war considers war from the perspective of the country and has a vision that transcends time and space. Sun Tzu said at the beginning of his plan, war is a major event of the country, a place of death and life, and a way of survival that cannot be ignored. It is also the first military classic in history to elevate war to the national level for analysis and treatment. The political viewpoint of Sun Tzu's art of war is that the art of war is not entirely in military affairs, but in politics, culture, and economy, which is the idea of game theory. Therefore, Sun Tzu's art of war is the first game theory production of humanity. In politics, Sun Tzu's art of war recognizes that war is a continuation of politics, serving politics, and politics is the mother of war. It calls on those in power to attach importance to military affairs, military training, and war preparation. In terms of economy, Sun Tzu proposed for the first time. Before the army and horses move, food and forage go first. He advocated not to fight uncertain battles and not to fight unprepared battles. Sun Tzu said, therefore, those who are good at fighting are like invincible places. They will not lose the enemy's defeat. Victory comes first and then they seek war, and defeat comes first and then they seek victory. As the saying goes in ancient times, those who are good at fighting are better than those who are easy to win. Wars without an economic foundation are difficult to sustain. Wars without the sympathy and support of the people cannot be sustained. The art of war by Sun Tzu shines with wisdom everywhere. It is the magic weapon of victory. The core of Sun Tzu's art of war is the idea of invincibility. It discusses the basic principles followed by war from the perspectives of strategy and tactics. It advocates grasping the dominant power of war, grasping the fundamentals, and grasping the core. It aims to bring about harm to people, while fully preserving one's own strength, mobilizing the enemy without being mobilized by them. Eliminating the enemy without being annihilated by them. In Sun Tzu's art of war, the virtual and real chapters, it is said. Those who first wait for the enemy on the battlefield are lost, and those who move towards the battlefield later are laborious. Therefore, those who are good at fighting will bring about harm to people, but not to them. Those who can make the enemy self-attack will benefit, those who can make the enemy unable to reach will harm them. Therefore, if the enemy is lost, they can work hard, if they are full, they can starve, and if they are safe, they can move. If they do not follow what they do not want, they will follow what they do not want. They should take the initiative on the battlefield and seize the opportunity. Waiting for labor with ease is an indispensable condition for invincibility. Throughout history, excellent military strategists have always followed the iron law of preserving oneself is the only way to eliminate the enemy. This is a timeless law. Chairman Mao, a genius military strategist, wrote in Strategic Issues in Chinese Revolutionary War, in Chapter 5, Section 9, it is also said. For a person, it is better to cut off one finger than to injure 10 fingers, and for the enemy, it is better to annihilate one division than to defeat 10 divisions. This shows the important significance of grasping the core, grasping the fundamentals, and seizing the initiative. Chairman Mao, the leader, gained initiative by fully mobilizing the enemy and controlling the battlefield. Based on the fundamental military principle of invincibility, the ultimate victory was achieved. Another core idea of Sun Tzu's art of war is comprehensiveness. Using the concept of comprehensiveness to analyze problems and formulate plans, Sun Tzu once said, when using military tactics, the whole country should be prioritized, followed by the destruction of the country. The whole army should be prioritized, followed by the destruction of the army. The whole brigade should be prioritized, followed by the destruction of the brigade. The whole army should be prioritized, followed by the destruction of the soldiers, and the whole army should be prioritized, followed by the destruction of the army. Chen Danran, a scholar of the Qing dynasty, also said in The Proposal for Relocating the Capital and Establishing Festivals. Those who do not plan for the whole world are not enough to plan for a time, those who do not plan for the whole world are not enough to plan for a region. Therefore, we need to have when formulating plans, it is necessary to comprehensively examine and weigh from the perspective of the country and the nation, and formulate decisions and plans that are suitable for the national conditions, the battlefield situation, and the wishes of the people. Strive for complete victory and achieve complete success. The idea of stopping war, in Sun Tzu's Art of War requires us to first recognize that it is not the method of war, but the method of not fighting. It is not the method of victory, but the method of not being defeated. It is not the method of defeating the enemy, but the method of waiting for the enemy to be defeated. We know that the purpose of war is to not fight, and stopping war is not to fear war or passively avoid war, but to actively prepare for war, use strategic deterrence against the enemy, and force the enemy to fear war and stop war. We know that war is a disaster for both the enemy and us, especially for ordinary people, economic damage, environmental damage, consumption of national strength, and waste of resources, all of which are incalculable. Therefore, in his book Strategy and Attack, Sun Tzu, the sage of martial arts, said, "Therefore, winning every battle is not a good thing, a good one is a good one who subdues others without fighting. Therefore, when attacking a city, the upper army must attack the enemy, the second army must attack the enemy, and the lower army must attack the city. The method of attacking a city is inevitable. When launching a war, attacking a city is inevitable. War requires food and grass, equipment, and troops, and all of this consumption will greatly weaken the economy in national strength. Therefore, Sun Tzu's Art of War, the importance of stopping the war, is further discussed in the article. The construction of oars and spears, equipped with weapons, will take 3 months to complete, the distance between them will be 3 months to complete. When the enemy is overwhelmed with anger, ants will attach them, killing 1/3 of the soldiers, and if the city is not pulled out, it will be a disaster for the attack. Therefore, those who are good at using troops should defeat the enemy's army rather than fighting, pull out the enemy's city rather than attacking, and destroy the country of people rather than attacking for a long time. Therefore, the strategy for attacking is not to stop the army but to benefit all. This is the method for planning an attack. In the War of Sun Tzu's Art of War, in the War of War, 1,000 chariots, 1,000 chariots, 1,000 chariots, 100,000 armor, and 1,000 miles of food are needed. The cost of internal and external expenses, the use of guests, the materials of glue and paint, and the provision of chariot armor will cost 1,000 gold per day, and then 100,000 troops will be employed. Their use of warfare is also effective. If they win for a long time, their troops will be blunt and their strength will be reduced, and if they attack a city for a long time, their strength will be reduced. If they are dull and their troops are defeated, their strength will be exhausted, and the feudal lords will rise up to take advantage of their shortcomings. Although there are wise people who cannot do well in the future, it is evident that the drawbacks of war can be achieved through strategy, diplomacy, economic means, energy means, and cultural assimilation to achieve the goal of subduing soldiers without fighting. Purpose is the highest level of military strategy, in line with Sun Tzu's Art of War, the idea of stopping war. Sun Tzu's Art of War is an art of war and a treasure of survival and safety. In the War of Sun Tzu's Art of War, it is said that one knows the general of the army and the command of the people. It is also the master of national security. Therefore, in the fire attack section of Sun Tzu's Art of War, it is said that the wise master should consider it, the good general should be lazy, not use it, not fight in danger. The Lord should not be angry and raise the army, and not attack with anger. It should be combined with profit, not with profit. Anger can bring joy back, anger can be set again, the fallen country cannot be revived, and the dead cannot be revived. Therefore, war should be treated with caution. The mission of the army is to maintain national sovereignty and territorial integrity, and to defend national sovereignty and territorial integrity. Defending the core interests of a country is to safeguard its development space. The great leader Mao Zedong also said, "We should be cautious in the first battle." In the wars he commands, we always adhere to the principle of, if we win, we will fight, and if we don't win, we will go. We should preserve our living strength, not take advantage of temporary courage, not seek temporary speed, not make personal achievements, and not be overjoyed. The military is the public tool of the country, the lifeline of the country, the land of life and death, and the path to survival, which cannot be ignored. If one launches a war knowing that they cannot win, causing the country and nation to be in danger, the economy to be on the brink of collapse, and the people's livelihood to be in dire straits, it is not the actions of wise men. As a military work, Sun Tzu's Art of War comprehensively discusses the dialectical relationship of war. It's not about making us passive and waiting to be beaten, but about actively preparing for war, treating war with caution, and how to win war with the minimum cost. Only by not fearing war can we win it. Pursuing the strategy of subduing the enemy without fighting, and pursuing the strategy of advancing the army and attacking the enemy. Specifically, how should we do it? We should attach importance to military affairs, national defense construction, intelligence, and the dynamics between countries, actively prepare for war, and continuously enhance military strength and the sense of mission of soldiers. We should respond with the theory and methods of beyond the limits of war. We should use military deterrence, economic, diplomatic, energy technology, intelligence, cultural, ideological, and other aspects, and work together at multiple levels to resolve the war. We should be a master of breaking the situation. What is more powerful than breaking the situation is breaking the situation. Based on daring to fight, we must win. So how to achieve victory by daring to fight? First of all, we must have a clear understanding of the international and domestic situation. We must have a broader perspective and recognize the characteristics of modern warfare. Wars in the economic, financial, and cultural fields are the new normal. Wars in the energy and technological fields are in full swing. Especially in the cultural field, wars will be of utmost importance in the future. The ideological war in the cultural field is more terrifying than live ammunition, and has more concealment and persistence. Therefore, we must establish correct values and outlook on life, prioritize the interests of the country in the nation, and be a cultural person who cherishes the motherland, the people, and great love, worthy of the times. Adhering to the sentiment of establishing a heart for heaven and earth, establishing a destiny for the people, inheriting unique knowledge from the sages, and opening up peace for the world, we defend the cultural and ideological front. The core idea of Sun Tzu's Art of War tells us that only by actively preparing for war can we avoid it. How to actively prepare for war is a big question. Preparing for war is to not fight, preparing to fight is to not fight. Chairman Mao, the great leader, said, "Prepare for war and prepare for the people." The Art of War by Sun Tzu permeates the idea of active preparation and the policy of stopping war with war everywhere. If there is a war, how can we win? First of all, we must know ourselves and the enemy. In Sun Tzu's Strategy for Attack, it is said, "Knowing ourselves and the enemy, we will not be defeated in 100 battles, knowing ourselves without knowing the other, we will win one loss, knowing ourselves without knowing the other, we will be defeated in every battle." So, how to achieve the goal of knowing ourselves and the enemy? Sun Tzu, the military sage, gave us a clear answer over 3,000 years ago. That is the work of intelligence. Sun Tzu said, "Therefore, the wise and wise will be able to overcome people through their actions, and success will come from the people. They are prophets. Prophets should not be taken from ghosts and gods, nor should they be seen in events, nor should they be verified in measures. They must be taken from people, and those who know the enemy's situation. Therefore, there are 5 ways to use intelligence. There are reasons, there are internal factors, there are opposing factors, there is death, and there is life." Throughout history, all countries attach great importance to intelligence collection work. The use of intelligence has been perfected. As the ancestor of intelligence, Sun Tzu, a soldier, said in his work, The Use of Intelligence. In the use of intelligence, do not be close to it, and do not reward it more than in the use of intelligence. Things should not be too close to each other. Non-sages cannot use each other, non-benevolence and righteousness cannot use each other, and non-subtleties cannot achieve each other. We know that the correct choice comes from a comprehensive, profound, and systematic analysis and balance of objective reality. Knowing oneself and the other is the prerequisite, foundation, and core. We can use modern communication and data analysis SW0T analysis to identify strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and challenges in the model. In order to better understand the environment, opportunities, challenges, know the enemy first, and firmly grasp the initiative of war. Actively train and prepare for war. Use me in the first battle, use me to win. Sun Tzu's Art of War is a complete and systematic work on military theory. It is a classic work of game theory, a culture of harmony between benevolence and righteousness, and a practice of kingship. According to The Art of War, by Sun Tzu, those who make good use of military power, cultivate the Tao while protecting the law, can form a battle of victory in defeat. The great literary scholar Du Mu annotated and explained, the Tao is benevolent and righteous, and the law is also legal. Those who are good at using military power should first cultivate benevolence and righteousness, maintain the rule of law, and consider themselves invincible. If there is a gap in serving the enemy that can be defeated, then they can attack and win. Mencius also said, those who use force to deceive benevolence will dominate, and there will be a great country. Those who practice virtue and benevolence will be king, and the king will not be great. Tang is 70 miles away, and with 100 miles, those who subdue others with strength are not satisfied by their hearts, nor are they supported by their strength. Those who subdue others with virtue are happy at the center and sincere in their obedience, just like the 70 sons who subdued Confucius. As the poem goes, from west to east, from south to north, there is no thought but obedience. This is also known as Zhuge Liang, the famous prime minister of the Three Kingdoms, captured Meng Huo 7 times and pacified the southwestern rear area, which is a strong evidence of this theory. In today's world, China is promoting the path of benevolence and righteousness as kings, which has gained the support of the vast majority of countries in the world. On the contrary, hegemonism led by the United States is increasingly causing public outrage in the world. This can prove the greatness of our ancestors. Sun Tzu's war law, despite going through thousands of years, it still shines with the light of wisdom. Chinese wisdom and civilization are unparalleled in any country and have long been at the pinnacle of world culture. The idea of avoiding reality and defeating weakness in Sun Tzu's Art of War is still regarded as a classic and a weapon for victory. In the virtual and real chapters of Sun Tzu's Art of War, it is said, the image of a man's army is water, and the movement of the water avoids heights and tends downwards, while the shape of the army avoids reality and attacks emptiness. The water controls flow due to the ground, and the army wins due to the enemy. Therefore, the principle of military use is to concentrate the superior forces, attack what they do not defend, avoid their sharpness, and hit them with laziness. Sun Bin's Art of War also says, we must attack but not defend. The most important thing in military use is to attack the enemy's empty and undefended areas. That is, the superior forces attack the enemy's vital points. Surprisingly, they attack them unpreparedly, causing the opponent to lose their guard. Combat consciousness, in order to achieve the goal of victory. Controlling the initiative of war is the core of Sun Tzu's Art of War. In the ever-changing battlefield, whoever can mobilize the enemy and control the initiative of war can achieve ultimate victory. On the contrary, people will be passively beaten everywhere. In Sun Tzu's Art of War, Su Shipian, it is said, therefore, those who are good at warfare will harm people but not others. Those who can cause the enemy to arrive naturally will benefit them, those who can prevent the enemy from arriving will also harm them. Therefore, if the enemy is lost, they can work hard, be full and hungry, and be able to move. If they do not follow their direction, they will follow their unwillingness. If they travel 1,000 miles without labor, they will walk in an uninhabited place. If they attack but must take, they will attack what they do not defend. If they defend but must be fixed, they can find the Shuyuan website www.zhaoshuyuan.com to defend what they do not attack. Therefore, those who are good at attacking, the enemy does not know what they are defending; those who are good at defending, the enemy does not know what they are. I don't know what they are attacking. Mobilizing the enemy is a prerequisite for eliminating them. It is an important guarantee for annihilating the enemy's living force and achieving the redistribution of war resources. In addition, The Art of War, by Sun Tzu also emphasizes that knowing oneself and the enemy is invincible in 100 battles. To achieve perfect harmony and extraordinary victory, soldiers stand up with deceit, move with profit, and divide and merge with change. Advance troops to attack the enemy, and then attack the enemy. And the offense and defense in war. The attack and defense systems are interconnected and mutually transformed. In attack, there is defense, and in defense, there is attack. It can be a defense as a whole, and a partial attack may be an attack. Attack contains defensive factors, and defense also contains offensive factors. Attack can be transformed into defense, and defense can also be transformed into attack. The determining factors for attack and defense are the comparison of forces between the two sides and the needs of the battlefield situation. As a military masterpiece of the pre-Qin period, Sun Tzu's Art of War shines with wisdom, but with the passage of time, it needs to be constantly enriched and improved. The People's War, fighting for whom, injects new vitality into it. Marshal Chen Yi said, the Huaihai campaign was pushed out by the people of Shandong using small cars. It is a typical case of People's War. We should learn about war from war examples, and not forget about war. We should establish the belief that soldiers are born for war. However, we should also remember the warning from the military strategist Rangju's Sima Fa. Although the country is large, if it is belligerent, it will perish. Although the world is safe, if we forget about war, it will be dangerous. Studying the Art of War by Sun Tzu requires keeping up with the times and combining it with the national and local conditions of the time. Establish the belief that it is better to be prepared than to fight, and to be unprepared than to fight. Actively preparing for war is the cornerstone of peace and stability, with truth within the range of artillery and dignity above the edge of the sword. If war cannot be avoided, we must have enough strength to end the battle in the shortest possible time and bring peace to the world. 2020.1.12 One Life Attachment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lifelong attachment 1/Wei Feng. If every relationship they are all as brilliant as spring flowers, pure as white snow that's as pure as a jasmine whispering, decorate every inch of life's journey. If every love as persistent as blooming sunflowers, eternal like a star, that faint smile swaying like lotus fragrance, fill every cell around the body. If every time we part ways they all dissipate in an instant like morning mist, short as an epiphyllum, the entanglement of countless golden threads, two hearts entwined like quantum entanglement. If we stick together forever like pi, as brilliant as the starry sky. Like a fragrant lotus is it the murmuring swallow. It's like blooming flowers. It's a matter of holding hands and relying on each other, a matter of life and death. It's like sharing the same joy with June and raising eyebrows on the same table, a watchful heart chewing on the desolation of the night amidst the surging winds and clouds. At midnight, I lay my head on a lonely pillow, endure every gathering and parting, sketching a curtain of mottled and fragmented dreams, capturing ethereal images, the idea of hanging in the cloud like a pendulum clock, reciprocating to draw a perfect seat. Infinite and crazy attachment shake the soul with nowhere to place its silence. It's the saddest cry in my heart at this moment, crossing the wave of calamity. That bouquet of budding roses, whether to adhere to the unchanged original intention and bloom the journey of love. 2020.3.5 Lifelong Attachment 1/Jingyu Your affectionate glance causing me a shy heart. The lonely season is no longer lonely. Standing winter fairy Ren Bingliang's moon kissing wet my expectations time and time again. Across a curtain of clouds and smoke I have accumulated 3 lifetimes of longing swaying into bud like buds waiting for you to pick and purify. Blooming on your lips. Oil paper umbrellas are a blooming romance. It's the anticipation of waiting for every minute and second you come to me. The icy soul pours out endless attachment. The hazy poetry plays beautiful chords. Your smile, it's my pink wish. 1,000-year-old love ignites at the moment of meeting you. Hold up a paper umbrella for me. I dance in red for you. You lay a silver satin for me. I'll show you all my delicate looks. You gave me Qinghuan that others cannot understand. I have given you the most beautiful softness in the depths of the mortal world. You are my lifelong attachment. I am the warmth of your life. Wu Weifeng, male, born in Xiangyang, Hubei Province, with ancestral roots in Yinxi County, is a semi-senior legal worker, literary enthusiast, member of the Chinese Poetry Society, Blue V poet of the Chinese Poetry Network, member of the May 4th Literature Society of Peking University, member of the Chinese Writers Network, director of the Greater China area of the International Chinese Writers Association, and president of the Ningxia branch of the International Chinese Writers Association in Greater China. Modern poetry editor of Autumn Rhyme and Literature Society, first prize in the Chutian Cup Shui Essay Competition of People's Literature Publishing House, and first prize in the 4th Yangtze River Cup Chinese Poetry Competition. The second prize of the 2nd Most Beautiful China Contemporary Poetry and Prose Competition, the second prize of the 2023 Fenglin Cup New Era Poetry and Art Pen Club, and the author of the book A Brief Account of Independent Views. More than 1,000 works have been published in various poetry magazines, collections, newspapers, and online platforms. The Philosophy of Ants, Part 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Philosophy of Ants, Part 1. An ant is on a steep mountain slope dragging the giant beetle like builders entering the city carrying backpacks. The frail body lifted its forearm. Open your mouth and bite into the hard insect wings of Xinjiang. Crawling upwards like a warrior I can clearly see the bulging pulse, bulging veins and trembling. Move forward and roll down the mountain slope. Get up and retrieve food. Move on, roll down the mountain slope. Advance very close to the target. Still far from my dreams like waves constantly surging towards the embankment. My hazy eyes were burned by this scene. I can't bear to see it again, just like the backpack that can't bear to gaze at every farewell. The setting sun weaves like a web. The moment of looking back I saw ants and insects pouring out of their nests to harvest victory. When going down the mountain I finally understood the life philosophy of an ant. 2019.1 Moral Bottom Line Awakening. From the 24 histories brew a cup of green tea, clearing up scattered thoughts like a speck of dust, wandering the bottom line of morality and conscience. Ups and downs the plot is replayed in the mind like a high-speed train passing through the land of Jingchu. Power, money, beauty, fake competition for temptation, hidden rule and covert operation. The law of the jungle is like a black hole opening its mouth, devouring pure blood. I shouted, struggled, and fled, attempting to stand proudly in the posture of a white lotus flower. Be cautious and face the chaotic world with caution. The attraction of swinging away from the vortex. The mainstay jumps out of the quagmire. The sword of reason and conscience guarding the moral bottom line. Peel off layers of paint. I clearly see humans running naked with greed. 2019.2 Yaks swimming on the plateau. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yaks swimming on the plateau. 1/Weifeng The eagle trembled, its wings opening and closing like playing an accordion, sweeping over the mountains. A sunrise shot out in a round, ignite the eastern clouds and scatter strands of golden thread sewing up the pasture gnawed by yaks. A robust yak, dewdrops breaking through the grass and hitting the seat. Wake up the birds in search of food. Throw down a few crisp and melodious grains to decorate the vast grassland. White clouds are like inlaid grasslands. Slowly swimming herds of sheep filled the sky with the towering peaks of Bucataban. A curved ox horn pick up a load of dawn and slowly embed it into the green carpet. Chewing on tender grass with lowered head, leave behind a series of footprints. The fresh soil rising up is the skin scratched by the earth. The bird tentatively stepped on the back of the cow, light and graceful posture, jumping up and down to tease the high altitude hegemon. The calf bounced and ran towards its mother's embrace. Throw down a string of moos I see my bright starry eyes overflowing with warmth sucking sweet milk to feed hungry and thirsty intestines. A plateau shrouded in sunlight. A group of wandering yaks are the fresh souls of the pasture. A painting interweaving motion and stillness carrying my reverence and love for the plateau, waiting for the moment when the wind shakes the sail to freeze into eternity. 2020.2.1 Hua Tsubing. An outstanding military strategist. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hua Tsubing. An outstanding military strategist. 1/Wei Feng. In the 50-100-year history of Chinese civilization, heroes have emerged one after another, with stars like clouds. A group after another of outstanding military strategists have emerged, shining through the ages. The famous General Hua Tsubing of the Western Han Dynasty is undoubtedly the brightest star in the brilliant starry sky. His brief life left behind admirable classic examples of war, and created the great achievement of sealing the wolf and dwelling in the Sioux, becoming the lifelong dream of future generals. Hua Tsubing was a famous military strategist in Chinese history, and his life was full of legendary colors. In his short life, he opened the precedent of special operations. With his brave and fierce heroic spirit, he penetrated the desert with 800 cavalry, turned to battle, pushed thousands of miles horizontally, and swept 3,000 enemies with one sword, opening the precedent of special operations and lightning strikes. He was born into an aristocratic family, but was not satisfied with a comfortable life. He resolutely devoted himself to the cause of defending the country and made the bold statement, "The Xiongnu are not extinct, why should our family be?" He demonstrated outstanding military talent on the battlefield, successfully unleashing the principles of surprise, attack unprepared, and all who fight, use harmony in surprise to win, to the extreme. He was adept at using cavalry, adopting tactics such as surprise attacks and encirclement, repeatedly defeating the Xiongnu with fewer victories. His strategic vision is unique, able to accurately judge the enemy situation and develop the best combat plan based on the battlefield situation, terrain, topography, etc. In addition, he also focuses on intelligence collection and analysis. Dispatch spies to infiltrate the enemy's interior, collect intelligence, and develop corresponding strategies and tactics based on the intelligence. The skillful use of soldiers, cunning ways, has created one war after another deification. His outstanding military literacy, bold and meticulous heroic spirit, flexible military tactics, emphasis on strategy, and adherence to ancient methods are his strengths. He is adept at long-distance and rapid raids, as well as large detours and interspersions, and searching for fighter jets in motion. He focuses on annihilating the enemy's living forces, without considering the gains and losses of each city or place. With unstoppable morale, he fights lightly, never letting capture prisoners of war become a burden on the front line. Everything is prioritized by winning battles and annihilating the enemy's living forces. In general, Hua Tsubing's strategy and tactics are flexible and varied, achieving the goal of the unpredictability of troops and the unpredictability of water. Those who can win due to changes in the enemy are called gods. He is able to develop corresponding strategies according to different situations, in order to defeat the enemy and win. His military achievements have had a profound impact on Chinese history. It also made significant contributions to the military expansion during the reign of Emperor Wu of Han. In addition, he is also a general with noble character. He cares about soldiers, sympathizes with the people, and is deeply loved by soldiers and the people. According to historical records, he was very concerned about the lives and health of soldiers during his marching and fighting. Personally inspect the food and accommodation of the soldiers to ensure that their living conditions are good. He will also provide sufficient medical support to soldiers to ensure that they receive timely treatment after being injured in battle. He is also very considerate of the people and often takes measures to protect their lives and property during the war, avoiding unnecessary harm to the people. He will also actively assist disaster victims by providing them with food and shelter. Truly achieving the realm of chivalry is great, serving the country and the people. Their talent, tactics, and emotions are heights that even a poor person cannot reach in their lifetime. Overall, Hua Tuobing was a general with noble character and outstanding military talent. His concern for soldiers and compassion for the people earned him widespread praise and respect. He does not pursue fame and fortune, always putting national interests first, and is a true patriot. Especially in today's materialistic era, it is important to establish a correct worldview, outlook on life, and values. Do not pursue personal gains and losses, silently contribute to the country's talent, plead for the people, and create a youthful country with my youth. Being selfless, dedicating youth and strength has more guiding and reference significance. His legendary life was very brief, like a shooting star passing through a long night, a fleeting moment in the pan, which was not only lamentable but also regrettable. However, his military achievements and noble character had a profound impact on Chinese history. The title of wolf dwelling in Su was the highest honor pursued by many generals throughout their lives. His military ideology and combat methods still have important guiding and reference significance for the current military field. His patriotic spirit and noble character also inspire generation after generation of Chinese people to strive for the prosperity and development of the country. In short, Hua Tuobing is a great military strategist, and his achievements and character will forever be engraved in the long river of Chinese history, shining brightly. Always inspire future generations to continue fighting for the country. 2020.3.10